What's going on, everyone? So, Rondae Hollis Jefferson wants to make a return to the NBA. He put out a post on X about it, and I don't really hate the idea, right? One, he was known as an elite defensive player. I mean, this is a guy that was a 104 defensive rating. Even his final season with Portland was like a 111 and a half, almost like 112 defensive rating. So, or he was a 111, I think, in the regular season, and then a 112 in the postseason. But he's a guy that legitimately can defend 1 through 5. He did it his career. The problem is he's an offensive liability, right? Great athlete. Can rebound the basketball, defend multiple positions. I mean, he even says himself, I can defend anybody, and he's not wrong, right? I mean, that's what he built his career on, being that defensive stopper, being that guy that could defend guards, defend forwards, defend everything. Just so happens the Lakers really need defense, right? They really need guys that can get out there, that have athleticism, help rebound, defend multiple positions, and Jefferson, I think, is a guy that could potentially do that for a team. He's also open and understands. I mean, it's great when players, are honest about a situation. So I want to go over what exactly he says and what he's willing to kind of bring and provide a team, and then kind of dive into him even more, right? So, he posted this himself. He said, "Good morning at NBA. I was wondering if any teams had a training camp spot for a kind chap like myself. I'm like an SUV. Got a lot of travel miles, but for the long haul, long season. You can count on me. I also keep good airflow amongst the team. I can also guard just about anyone." He's not wrong, right? "I also don't mind getting guys better in practice, pushing them to the next level, making it tough in practice scrimmage when necessary for core guys to be elite in game situations." So he's saying, look, I'm a guy that can come in, right? Provide my services defensively, and whether I play or not, I will be that guy that sets the tone in practice. I love that. He's still 30 years old, right? I think if you're the Lakers, bring him in on a training camp, right? Sign him to an Exhibit 10. He's the kind of guy that you need, 6'6", 6'7", long wingspan, athletic, can legit defend multiple positions, right? You bring him in on Exhibit 10, you kind of see what he can do for you, and if he's not good, you got him, right? If he doesn't give you that defensive intensity and he's not giving you what you're looking for, then you got him, right? And there you go. But if he does, then he could be a guy that could help solve some of that. Now, I'm not expecting him to come in and be, the starter or anything like that, but just to provide some wing depth, right? Especially if the Lakers make a trade or do something, you're going to have to bring in a guy. I mean, he might be the one of, if not the best defenders. Like we talked about Josh Okogie, right? Josh Okogie being a guy that, hey, he can defend, he's long, he's lengthy. Rawlins Jefferson, there we go. Hollis Jefferson is bigger, right? He's a bigger Okogie. And, Okogie wasn't great offensively. He had a stretch, right? The problem is Jefferson's not a great offensive player. That's why he's essentially out of the league and hasn't played. Last time he played was the 2020-2021 season. He played for Portland, right? So he's been out of the league a couple years, and it's primarily because of his lack of offense. I mean, from three-point range, he's a 21.2% three-point shooter. His final season in Portland, he only took 0.1 attempts, and then you look at his best season, he was 28.6%, and that was his rookie season in Brooklyn. Again, not a guy that's giving you shooting, but he is a guy that can give you that off-ball movement, again, kind of be that lob threat, be a guy that, and we also don't know how well he's worked on his game, because he's been out of the league a couple times, played overseas, he's been working on his game. I mean, posted a highlight tape and all that stuff, right? But, those can be deceiving. But that's why I'm not saying you bring him in on the main roster immediately. I'm not saying you go make a trade to open up a roster spot for him. But what I am saying is you could bring him into training camp. And if he's somebody that's like, hey, no, wait a minute, we might have found, think of what Stanley Johnson did for us a couple years ago and how he was a real bright spot and gem for us, right? Hollis is still only 30 years old. So he's still young enough to be a piece. Going to be dirt cheap. He's a veteran. He's been there. He has playoff experience, right? He had, the season, he had a playoff run with Brooklyn. He was on the Toronto team, right, in 2019, 2020, and then on the Portland Trail Blazers team. And a guy that, again, gave you some quality defense. His best playoff run was in the 2018-2019. He was actually 13 points, 3 rebounds, 1.5 assists, half a steal, and 1.3 blocks per game. It's a guy that could slot in at the 3 or the 4. Even play some small ball 5, especially in today's NBA, right? With the type of runs. He was in that run. He was 100% from three-point range. He's actually a career playoff 50% three-point shooter, but it's very limited. He's averaged 0.1 attempts in the playoffs. But you look at him during the regular season. Look at let's look at his best stint, which was with the Brooklyn Nets in 2017-2018. He averaged 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, right? And that was in 28.2 minutes per game, which was the most minutes he also played in a game. You look with Portland in 9 minutes of action, 9.7 in 11 games. He averaged 50% from the floor on 1.6 attempt. Like I said, didn't really take any threes. 2-point range, he was 53% on 1.5 attempts. EFG of 50%. Free throw shooting, he is a career 73, almost 74% free throw shooter, but that year he was 56.3%, which was by far his worst free throw season, but it was also the fewest free throws of his career at 1.5. Rebounding, 2.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, half a steal, half a block, and 2.5 points, right? So again, even in just limited production, he averaged under 2 field goal attempts per game, but was there playing defense, rebounding the basketball. You look at his per 36, which again doesn't tell you everything, but kind of highlights how good of a rebounder he is and stuff like that. Even in that Portland year, he would have been 9 points, 9 rebounds, 4.5 assists, a steal, 1.5 blocks per game. He's really good as that help defender. He's really good kind of, being the blind side to come and help and block shots and get above the rim. But for his career, he'd be on per 36. It's per 36. He'd be 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals, and a block per game. So a guy, again, that he was known as this, elite perimeter defender, right? He was known as a guy that can defend multiple positions, but his offense was, he was worse than Vando offensively, right? So, that's kind of why he phased out of the league, because it's just at some point you want these guys. Vando could very well be one of those guys sooner or later, right? Luckily, the thing that Vando has is when he's healthy, he's literally the best defensive player in all of basketball, perimeter-wise, right? Most versatile. I did a whole video on the numbers and the stats, even last year, where he kind of looked like he missed a step. He kind of looked like he was a little bit behind, and the numbers still say he was the best in the NBA as far as versatility goes, being able to defend 1 through 5, and even being that help defender, right? Adding a guy like Hollis Jefferson just gives you another guy. But like you said, he understands. Hey, I just want to be in the league again, right? I'm fine being that 15th guy that's coming in, pushing guys in practice. You need that, right? JJ wants practices. He wants those high tension practices. He wants guys to improve and get better. He'd be great for guys. He'd be great for Bronny. Right, just helping him work on the defensive side of the ball, helping pressure him, right? Bringing him in as a guy that could be a defensive specialist, right? I look at him potentially as an assignment guy. You bring him in, he's an assignment guy, right? You're putting him on guards or whoever, right? Anthony Edwards for 10 minutes, right? It's just hey, your job is to make sure you slow him down. And you just have him and Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt, and you just have these waves of defensive, long, versatile defensive guys, Adu Thero, right? Have these guys that you can just throw at opposing teams to really try to slow them down. You have enough offense. You'll be fine. Obviously, you don't want Hollis Jefferson to just be completely inept offensively, but I do think you can have him in off-ball actions, screen and roll actions. Think he can be the lob threat, right? I think you can put him. He's a good finisher around the rim, right? So he's a guy that I do think you can find ways to kind of make him productive to an extent. But again, we also don't know how well he's improved his three-point shooting. Right? We haven't seen him play. But that's why it's not a guy I've looked to rush to sign to a contract, because it is a big unknown. Even the defensive side of things is a big unknown, right? But if you can get that version of Jefferson that we saw before he, exited the league to go sign overseas and get the money overseas, then that would be great for the Lakers. to just have that versatile defender out there that can defend multiple things and just apply pressure in practice, right? He'd be great as a guy that you can throw on Luka, you can throw on LeBron, you could throw on Reeves, and really just kind of push them in various ways in practice settings, right? Like, obviously you don't want to go too hard to where you hurt anybody or anything like that, but he's a veteran. He's been there. He's done that. He has playoff experience, right? He's a guy that knows, understands, and can play his role. And like I said, he might be the best defensive player left, right? Literally, he might be the best defensive player that is available as far as like free agents go if you're to sign him. And, again, he's a bigger Okogie, which we all were kind of like, hey, let's bring in Josh Okogie. Josh Okogie's just slightly better shooting the basketball, but he's not like elite. He had that stint with Phoenix where he shot 38%, but then got traded and went to Charlotte and shot right back to 32%. Now 32% is better than 20%. But point is, like, I do think you can have Rawlins as a guy that can slot in at the 4, slot in at the 3 at times. You could have, or on defensive purposes, right? On offense, maybe he's a 4, but on defense, you're slotting him at the 2 or the 3 to defend out on the perimeter alongside guys like Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt. I don't hate it. I think you at least bring him in on a training camp deal, kind of see what he can provide, and then see if maybe it's warranted to bring him on the main roster. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.